What's up, my friends? Welcome to a brand new video. In this one, we're going to be talking about 5 things that you will potentially hate about the United States Army. Is that a guarantee kind of thing? No, it really just depends on your situations, but these are 5 things that potentially someone in the Army could hate about being in the Army. Now, before we move into those 5 things, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Take a look down below. Make sure you have that subscribe button clicked. If you don't and you're not subscribed to this video, well then, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If ransom is what you're looking for, I don't have money, but what I do have is a particular set of skills from making Army YouTube videos. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will make you hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's dive into it, shall we? Now make sure you keep in mind, I'm mainly talking about active duty, as some of this stuff may not apply to reservists, but the first one we're gonna talk about is that you're always on call. So that basically means you are done for the day, right? They dismiss you, everybody goes home and everything like that. Well, if something comes about and they need someone to take care of something, they can call you up and tell you, hey, I need you to come in to do this. And you can't just be like, no, I'm already off duty. I'm already out of hours. I've already worked 40 hours this week. No, it doesn't work that way. It can even be on a weekend. It could be a weekend and suddenly something comes up and they need people to come in to do this. And you can get the call. They could go and knock on your barracks door, call you up, whatever the case is, and you have to come in. Now, a lot of people, try to play it off of, well, I don't have to give my personal phone number. There's nothing that says that I have to have a phone in the United States Army. Maybe that might be the case. A lot of units have a policy, though, that you have to be contactable, so they have to be able to reach you in a moment's notice. And if it's because you're telling them that you don't have a phone or you don't want to give out that phone number, they may do something to you like, well, okay, then when you're off duty, I need you to be able to report to the staff duty desk or whatever every 4 hours to see if there's anything new that's come about, because you have to be reachable. So you do have to be reachable. If you want to play that game of I don't have a cell phone or I'm not giving you my cell phone number or whatever, you can make it harder on yourself, or you can just do what you're supposed to do in the Army and make sure you're reachable. Even technically, even on leave, they could pull people back from leave. That doesn't happen too often. There has been cases of that. It's not a very common thing, but that can happen. So, even being on leave doesn't necessarily make you safe from being called up to have to do something. It's gotta be something pretty important if they're gonna call you back from leave. It's not gonna be something like, hey, I need you to come back from leave because we need someone to go sweep the motor pool. No, it's gonna be probably something pretty serious. But those little things can happen during the normal time. It's the weekend, it's after hours or whatever. Sweeping the motor pool would be kind of a little ridiculous, but there can be for certain other circumstances where, hey, we need to pull someone in to do something on a holiday, on a weekend or whatever. Does it happen all the time? No, it really depends on your MOS, your unit, what's going on, but that is a potential thing that can happen. And you can bitch about it, but it's a thing that can happen, and then you just have to suck up and you have to deal with it. The second thing that I want to mention inside of here is that you might miss some important dates in your life. What am I talking about specifically? Well, let's say, for example, like your birthday. Maybe you want to do something awesome on your birthday, but you have CQ, you've got, go to the field, you have to go on this deployment, whatever, and now you can't go and do something amazing that you wanted to do for your birthday, maybe even your friend's birthday, maybe your boyfriend, girlfriend's birthday, or whatever the case is, because of other requirements that you have to do because you're in the Army. Some big ones, like for married individuals, maybe have children, right? Sometimes you might be stuck with being in the field on your son or daughter's birthday, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can't just get some kind of special exemption with, hey, sorry guys, my son or daughter's birthday is on this day when we're in the field, so I need to go home for that so I can be there for them. There's nothing you can do about that. Maybe if it happens to be a thing where, nothing's going on during that time frame, cool, you can take the day off, or you can put in for some leave, or if it's on the weekend or whatever, cool. But if it happens to fall in the middle of an exercise, the field, whatever, you're gonna have to miss that date. One key one for me was I missed my 10th year high school reunion because I was in the field. I wanted to go to my 10-year high school reunion. I couldn't do so because I was in the field, and they were letting me out of the field to go to my high school reunion. A lot of people I've known have missed multiple birthdays of their children or their spouse or whatever the case is. For births, that one, for the most part, they do their best to try to accommodate you so that you don't miss that one. But sometimes there is cases where that does still happen, especially like on a deployment or something like that, where they just can't accommodate that individual and that individual ends up missing the birth of their child. But with the birth of a child and major ones and something like that, that one they try to do their best to try to accommodate you to be able to make sure that you can do that. But things like a birthday, an anniversary, things like that, you're probably gonna, get shut down if you try to request to miss a field exercise or miss something important because you want to spend time with someone or you want to have your birthday off or whatever for an anniversary or whatever the case is. The third thing that possibly could be something you hate about the Army is that if you hate your job, you can't just quit. You probably already know this, right? You already know that, hey, I signed up for the Army. I am in the Army for 4 years, if that's what my contract's for, 3 years, whatever, with the whole total of an 8-year commitment kind of a thing. But if there is an MOS you get into, you had certain expectations of it, and those expectations are not what you thought they were gonna be. You can't just be like, well, this is what I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna quit and go do something else, or I'm just gonna quit and get out. It does not work that way, right? So for the most part, you're gonna be stuck with it, right? You are gonna be in a situation where, let's say you did a 4-year contract. Well, right around the 3-year mark, 1 year left of your contract, you're gonna be eligible to re-enlist. And if you are in that situation where you hate your job, you hate your MOS, and you wanna still stay in the Army though, then you can potentially re-enlist to reclass to another MOS. But that's only gonna be available during that time frame. Not like after you've been in the Army for 1 year, 2 years, and you still got like 2 or 3 more years to go in your contract. You can't just then decide that, you know what, this whole job that I signed up for isn't for me. I wanna switch or I wanna get out. So keep that in mind. You are gonna have to just suck it up if that's the situation you find yourself in for a while until you get to that stage where you are eligible to try to, reclass or just get out of the Army. Now we got a couple more to dive into, but before we do that, I gotta say thanks to the sponsor of this video, which is the Ridge Wallet. The Ridge Wallet is a great idea for someone who's a minimalist, maybe tired of that old bulky foldable wallet in your back pocket, and you want something that maybe is sleek and slim and just simply fits in any pocket, maybe your front pocket. The Ridge Wallet can hold up to 12 cards, and it also includes some RFID blocking technology, and if you have cash, well, there's also a band or a money clip that'll be on the back that you can place that cash. There are a ton of colors to choose from if you're looking for something like matte black, maybe something that's gold, maybe something that has some kind of cool design to it, like tiki design or something like that. There is a ton of options to choose from. I actually have right here this cool gunmetal one that kind of puts off this cool look to it. If you're on the fence about it, you're not sure if this is a wallet for you, well, good news for you because they will let you try it out for 45 days. If in that time frame you don't love the wallet, well then you can send it back and they will pay for the shipping. Now, if you're looking to save a little bit of money on that purchase, make sure you visit ridge.com/chaosarmy, and at checkout, use the promo code chaosarmy to receive 10% off plus free shipping. So make sure you visit that link in the description box. Let's move on. Number 4 that I have of things that I potentially could see someone hating about the Army is the hours that you work. This definitely fluctuates, all right? There may be times in the Army where you're off early. There may be times in the Army where you don't get off early at all and you're staying late for several hours past the normal time of when you normally get released for the day. This is not like a set in stone type of thing. I can't give you of like exactly how often this is gonna happen or how often it's not gonna happen, whatever the case is, because it'll totally fluctuate based on the unit you're in, where you're at, and what's going on at that time frame. But this is a thing that often soldiers hate about being in the Army is that sometimes that you're working in the motor pool, you're thinking you're gonna get off at like 4:35, in the evening. Well, something comes down last minute or whatever, and now we're stuck there until 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever in the evening before we finally get to go home. Maybe you had plans, right? Maybe you had a hot date to go to. Maybe you had some plans to go do something with some friends, whatever the case was, and that got ruined by this last minute thing that came about. That can happen. How often it happens, like I said, just really depends. I've had it where it happened, several days in a row, but I've also had it before where it didn't happen for like, a month or whatever. Especially with certain other things like CQ, right? It could easily be a thing where, you had plans for this weekend to go do something and then last minute, someone can't do CQ because of whatever reason and you get stuck with that weekend CQ because that other person that was scheduled to have it can't do it and now your weekend plans are ruined. So now you have these extra hours you gotta work. It's not like you're getting overtime, you're not getting any kind of special thing like that. You just gotta suck it up and, work those hours that you're stuck doing. Especially for someone like a cook, right? Cooks have like crazy hours to be able to prepare breakfast and clean up after dinner and all sorts of other things. Other MOSs have similar things like MPs and certain other people, but there will be some cases where maybe you find yourself getting off pretty early, but don't count on that being an always type of situation. Now I got one more that I'll provide to you, but before I do so, if you have questions about like things I'm talking about in this video or about the Army, make sure you drop those down in the comment section, but let's also make sure that we feed the YouTube algorithm by making a comment down below. So let's mess with those casual viewers again. Casual viewers that are skipping through the video, maybe missing a lot of this stuff like that, but some of you awesome individuals that are watching the whole entire thing, I want you to comment down below if you don't have a question about the Army. I want you to give me some really simple math problem. And then I want you to look through the comments and see if there's somebody else that played along and added some simple math problem, but answer it completely wrong. So do not give any correct answers to anybody else's math equations. Make sure you give completely wrong answers. Make them easy math equations and make them completely wrong answers. Getting back into it though, the fifth and last one that I have on this list is hurry up and wait. What does that mean? Well, there are often times in the Army where something seems really important, or something seems like we gotta be in a big rush to do so, and then you get there and it turns out to be, no, this doesn't kick off for another hour, 2 hours, whatever the case is. Some good examples that I'll give you of that is I've had plenty of times where like we're getting ready to go off to a field problem and we have to be there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're there at 3 o'clock morning. We draw weapons and everything like that. We go to our vehicles and now it's maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and we don't leave to go out to the field until probably like 9 or 10 o'clock. So there is just several hours where we're standing around doing nothing, maybe fall back asleep inside your vehicle, whatever the case is, but you're ready to go. And it was like this big rush of hurrying up, grab your weapons, get your gear, go to the vehicles, get trucks online, and then sit there for several hours before you finally head out to the field. There are other cases of that too, where you're told to go to this class and you hurry up and get there, get to that class, and it turns out it doesn't start for another hour. There's tons of different examples. Does it happen every day? No. I mean, it just kind of depends. But it is a very common expression that you'll hear in the Army, hurry up and wait. A very common thing, probably even from the military in general. But just times when you have to hurry up to get somewhere, hurry up to be at a certain place or whatever, and then that thing doesn't kick off for X amount of hours or whatever the case is. A lot of that is for a reason, right? You make sure you're prepared, right? That way if you show up, on time, but someone else does not, and now we have to try to get in contact with that person to get them there, then they still get there in time to be able to execute the mission without delaying the mission at all. You may agree or disagree with those 5 things that I have in there. You may have even more than that, because there obviously can be easily more things than that. Some people may make the argument about pay, kind of a thing, but it's an entry-level type of thing when you first start off in the Army. You don't start making better money until you build up and rank a little bit. So pay could easily be something that maybe you don't like, maybe certain other things that maybe you don't like about the Army. These aren't the only 5 things that are out there. There could be a ton more, or there could be less than those 5, because maybe some of these things don't even apply to you. I'm not being biased to say that everything sucks about the Army, because there are some great things about the Army. In fact, there will be a video, if there is not already, a video about 5 things that you will love about the Army. So if you want to check that out and it's already available, it's probably right there. If not, that is just a recommendation that I recommend you check out. If you want to see some of my other videos, I have my newest one right there. Thanks for hanging out. Check out links down in the description box. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.